This week's episode of Play Some Video Games is brought to you by Old Spice. Bathe yourself in power. Power, everyone wants it, but not everyone can start the day washing themselves in it. Old Spice formulated Red Zone body wash for men who want power to seep into their very pores. The refreshing lather drop kicks dirt and odor, does a clothesline on them, and then slams them with a folding chair. And the powerful scent turns your regular little bathroom into an executive washroom. It's time to scrub your outer shell of weakness away and leave your inner shell of power shining. The hydrating formula leaves your skin smooth, not tight or dry, or on the curb crying in the rain like a wimp. Are you man enough to handle it? Old Spices. Hello everybody and welcome to Play Some Video Games, the only gaming podcast that actually is fully backwards compatible and still includes all of your achievements and trophies. It is I, your host Kevin. As always this week we are featuring Donnie and we have Q, and rounding up the lineup this evening is Kyle. So let's throw it to Q first. Buddy, what have you been up to? What have you been playing?
Yeah, so first thing I want to talk about is my wife and I have been doing a series, and it's up on the Play Some Video Games website, Gamer Husband, Newbie Wife, and we've been playing through Halo Combat Evolved on the Master Chief Collection. So that's been fun. Every time we play, my wife and I have a debrief afterwards, and I think after episode 2, she was like, you need to slow down a little bit. Because I go on automatic and I go just like I zone out and I just start killing everything, and she's like trying to catch up by using the double joysticks, which still kind of trip her up a little bit. So go check that out on the website. We're working, and actually we've been talking about like adding some other video games. Like we definitely want to do the Halos, but we also want to like take some breaks and play other games that are kind of couch co-ops kind of games. So if you have any idea, you guys on the show and also people in our community, we just want to, just drop a note somewhere. We'd be happy to take a look at what games you recommend and maybe put some videos together for that. I'm back playing Destiny. I'm kind of like in that hype for the next expansion that comes out in September. I had a couple friends who just recently bought the Taken King expansion, which was the big expansion that came out last fall. So we are now kind of carrying those friends through the expansion and then the raid as we get ready for the Rise of Iron expansion. I've been doing a lot of Destiny, and actually that's what I was doing after work today because my wife is planning her best friend's wedding. And also, obviously, it gets old, but, it's my good old classic. I'm always playing Halo 5. So if people out in the community play Halo 5, I think Nathan and Coach Mo told me they were going to get together to play some Halo 5 soon. So that's what I've been up to lately.
What about your Pokemon Go?
Oh, well, see, that's basically like breathing, Like, I don't even consider that, like, you ask me what have I been up to. You don't ask me, what do you do for sustenance? Like, that was the wrong question. Pokemon Go, level 21 and a half. I'm looking at you, Coach Mo, level 22. Some of us have to, save the world. Not all of us can just, catch Pokemon all day.
Fighting words.
Yeah, because I know that Moshe has been playing he's been catching Pokemon all day. I know that. But yes, just level 21, and we were, just kind of seeing where this game goes, kind of figuring out, well, I love catching Pokemon, and I love catching strong Pokemon, but it does feel like 90% of my time I'm catching Pokemon I don't want, just so I can get to the Pokemon that I really do want. So, I'm still playing it, but just trying to figuring out how much time do I really want to invest into this game. I think what keeps me playing it is that it's something that my wife and I do together. Like, we go take walks and we play. So I feel like that's kind of like one of the incentives to keep playing Pokemon Go, just the fact that it's something that I get to do with her, and we get to have fun just, together, just walking around and catching stuff. And yeah, so Pokemon Go, sustenance, like I said.
There you go. I've been playing Pokemon Go too, as well, just kind of casually, so I'll check in on it a few times a day, or if I'm, heading somewhere and I'm not driving, then I'll throw it open and see what I catch on the way there. So, still having fun with it. I don't take it super seriously either. I've attacked a few gyms, haven't really aggressively tried to take one over per se, but I'll attack one, get some experience on there. But I just like kind of catching all the Pokemon, seeing what new ones pop up, and take advantage of that. So still having fun with that, playing with the wife and the daughters as well too. So it's a good family affair, like you said. Gets you out, gets you walking a bit too. So it's all good. As far as the console gaming front, I am still chugging away on Saints Row 4. I'm literally on the very last mission, so I'll probably wrap that up as soon as we get off the pod tonight and put that to bed. Other than that, just playing a little more on my 3DS. Started over my Village in Animal Crossing with my daughter, gearing up for the extra content coming this fall, as we had mentioned in last week's episode. With the amiibo support and the cards, and hopefully some tie into the mobile game coming down the pike. We shall see. I did play a little bit more Blast Ball Metroid. Same thing I said last week. I enjoy it for what it is, but it has not sold me on the game. But I can understand why it definitely appeals to other people, but just not for me. That's all. And then I also need to download a certain Kirby demo that just hit today as well, which may pop up in the news. I don't know, but oh well, maybe I just stole somebody's news article. But hey, Kirby Robotron demo is out, so download it if you haven't played it already. But game's gotten great reviews. I just haven't had a chance to pick it up or play it, so this will be a good opportunity to get my hands on it and play around with it for a little bit. So let's throw it to Donnie. Good sir, what have you been up to?
Oh, now that I sit here and think about it, I've played a lot of things. I'm not playing Pokemon Go. I have more or less all but abandoned the game. I haven't booted it up since last week's podcast, for sure. I am playing Animal Crossing. I didn't start over my town. I just picked up and started pulling weeds and stuff. I don't know if I'm excited about the new content, because I think the new content's just more aesthetic, but it was more or less just a reminder that that game was awesome and I should check in on it more often. I beat Star Fox on 3DS,
hey.
the 3D remaster, for like the 50th time. I feel like I go through that game at least once a year, but I think it's more like 4 times a year. And it's real easy. You pick it up and play it. I think I beat it in one night, so it's real fun. I'm playing Infamous Second Son.
Yeah.
I love that game. I mentioned on the podcast a couple weeks ago, I think, that I just found it in my library, forgot that I bought a digital copy, hadn't played it since it released when I beat it on disc. And I just booted it up, and man, I love that game. I got a new TV last week. I got a Roku TV. Replaced the old monster, had the old plasma, and Best Buy was running a sweet deal on one. And man, that game looks so much better on my new TV than it did my old TV. So I'm really enjoying just kind of getting the visuals kind of down out of the TV. My Xbox One has returned to the living room. So my Xbox One and PlayStation now cohabitate in the TV center together.
Are they getting along?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. They really enjoy it. They're like peas in a pod here. They love that I don't have to walk up and down the stairs and choose between the two. And now both controllers are just right there in front of me. My old plasma only had one HDMI input, and like we had a switch on it and stuff, and it was just a pain. So like I had my Xbox downstairs in my office, and I had my PlayStation 4 upstairs, and now they're both upstairs. My Wii U is in the office. So moving that stuff around, playing games that look good on the new TV, as you always do when you get a new TV. You got to really test it out and get all your settings straight and get everything looking as pretty as it can possibly be. Jumping off of Kevin's already foreshadowed news, I bought Kirby's Dream Course, the SNES game, dropped on 3DS today actually. So we did a blog post on it, and I love that game. You play it, Kevin?
No, I did not play that one because it wasn't your traditional Kirby game. If you were, it has a little bit of a twist.
Yeah, Kyle, Q, anybody play Kirby's Dream Course on Super Nintendo?
I pretty sure I did, but if you ask me what exactly the mechanics are, I would probably be lost.
It's a golf game.
Oh, then actually I have not played it then, because
yes.
I've never played a golf game in my
life. This Kirby game is very different than any other Kirby game ever before. It is like a puzzle battle golf game, if I could try and put it in a word. And it is absolutely one of my favorite SNES games
Can Kirby
ever.
turn into its fire hair version of itself in this game?
No.
No, that's later Q.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Your many years. Now, this came out on Super Nintendo.
I should just leave the podcast right now. Yeah.
Well, Q, you were probably like 3 at the time, so I can't blame you.
Right.
Well, I mean, and that's what Kirby's been known for now. They've more or less farmed him out to everything. But in this game, no, all Kirby does is roll up into a ball and you put him around this little thing and you got to kill some enemies and get Kirby in the cup in as many strokes or as few strokes as possible. And it is really addictive and it's a blast. And if you've never played it, it's worth $8 and that's how much it costs. And I can only encourage you to go get it. And then today, Q, I started Gears.
Ultimate Edition?
No. I like the 360 version over the Ultimate Edition.
Oh, really?
I really do.
Why?
I really do.
Why is that?
The new one's too fast, man. Like I can't. And see that's the thing is like gamers are always like frame rates and faster, smoother. Like I played Ultimate Edition, and I was like, it just doesn't feel right. Like I almost felt like not like sick, but I was just like almost like I couldn't keep up. I was like, oh, like it's too fast. It like everything was moving too quickly. I'm playing the backwards compatible versions that I got when I bought I bought the Ultimate.
Those run great. Like the backward compatibility ones look great.
Yeah,
like I played through Gears of War 3 on backward compatibility and I loved it. Man, really? You don't like the Ultimate? Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right.
So if you listened to the podcast, we did an episode a couple weeks ago. We did our gaming to-dos. And one of my gaming to-dos for the year is to beat all of the Gears games before Gears 4 come. I've beaten 1, 2, and 3 in the past, but I never played Judgment Day, or Judgment, right? Judgment? Yeah, I never played that one at all. So I want to go through the story mode, linear, and just start at 1 and go all the way through Judgment before 4 comes. So I was sitting there thinking, today actually, I had the day off, and I was looking at the schedule, and I was like, ooh, you better get started.
Yeah.
You're running out of time to do this.
Let me know when you get to Judgment what you think, because I have very positive opinions of that game when a lot of people...
Everybody that I know that's beaten it is kind of like you. They're all like, this game's way better than the review.
Yeah, I think people that really hate on it are people that... Well, I'm not... This is obviously a generalization, but a lot of people did not finish that game. They just walked away from it, and I thought that was a mistake. So...
Those are all the games I played this week. Been playing a lot of games, if you can't tell. Not really like any marathon sessions, just kind of pick up and play. Infamous I just had a lot of fun with for like 2 or 3 hours, which is what I love to do with that game. I don't even really care about even chasing that terrible story. Like that game is just more fun just to like do the missions. That's the Assassin's Creed game that I've always wanted. So it's like this giant world with stuff to do, but it's fun to play. Mm-hmm. Like as opposed to Assassin's Creed, like it's boring to climb up the buildings. In Infamous, you just fly up them. You just like jump off of them and fly. So that's it.
Sounds so much like Saints Row 4, Donnie. Maybe you want to give that a try. Where it's
I've never played it.
Yeah,
I played Saints Row 2.
Yeah, 2 is when it started to kind of turn on.
It's like all purple and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
the gang calls purple for the Saints. 3 was, in my opinion, where it got good, and then it stopped taking itself serious. But 4. As I said before, it literally just embraces the Matrix. So your character can jump over buildings. Your character can fly. They can run up the walls like the Flash, and you can run super fast. Like you can steal cars, but then like one of the first things you unlock is speed. And I never step foot in a car again except on the missions that make you.
Really?
Yeah, it's like all superpowers. Like it's really really fun, and the story once again it's just so ridiculous that you can't help but just laugh at it. But it knows it. It's not like it's trying to take itself serious. It's just completely ludicrous.
If the game's fun, it doesn't even matter.
But as far as like gameplay mechanics, it reminds me a lot of Second Son. Yes, Second Son is more polished, hands down. But if you enjoy just the running around, the flying, the leaping over buildings and stuff, then you honestly might like it. So,
how are the missions? Like, do you have like similar missions? Like, do you have to like go, break up like drug deals and save people and take back like pockets of the city and stuff?
Yeah,
like
you free zones of the aliens that have taken over. So you free zone similar to as you did in Infamous, where you like liberate areas. You have to like hijack certain cars and drive them to safe zones to hack data out of them. There are missions where you have to hold a certain area while waves of enemies come and try and attack you, and you can't leave that area. You have to like get a certain amount of kills. So it does have similar like grab and go mission side quest stuff, whereas the main missions, every main mission is different. So the side quest is where you get a lot of the Infamous like side quests, if you will. So, but I've completed literally every side quest that threw at me. I've done all of them. So I'm literally gonna beat this game having done every single thing you can do. So
I may have to give that a try.
Yeah, it's fun, and I mean, it's dirt cheap now. You can probably get the core game for like that.
I think I have it.
Oh, well, there you go. I know Get Out of Hell, the standalone DLC was PlayStation Plus free, I believe, this month or it was last month. So you can play that, but which I haven't gotten to that yet. I'm going to play that after I beat the core game. But the core game is what I've done so far. I believe Get Out of Hell is a similar gameplay because your character's in hell. So I think he has some supernatural type powers too. So,
gotcha.
Yeah. But anyway, so sorry, steal away. Last and certainly not least, then Kyle, buddy, what have you been up to?
You know what I realized when listening to all these updates is I have not been on since Pokemon Go came out.
Yep.
We missed you, buddy.
Hey, I missed you all too. So I am playing Pokemon Go, and it'll be brief because I know you guys have talked about it a lot. I am only level 15, unlike Q and Mo and those guys. And I will say the only reason I'm level 15 is I traveled a lot in early July up to the Twin Cities. I live in Iowa, so I went up to Minneapolis, St. Paul, and played it up there a lot while I was traveling. And playing up there was fantastic. Playing where I live absolutely sucks. My lord, there is nothing around here.
Pokemon are not attracted to corn.
No, Pokemon apparently are not corn fans. So the band probably, or the vegetable, but or grain. But yeah, so it's fun. I enjoy it. My wife actually likes it a lot more than I do. She plays it quite a bit. She's the one who downloaded it before I did. This weekend, she let me sleep in a little bit. I got out of bed and came into the living room, and she kind of stared at me, and I was like, "What the heck's going on?" I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" She's like, "Good." And then I kind of look over at the television screen, and she's totally watching the Pokemon cartoon on Netflix.
Yes.
And then she came up with all these excuses about how she used to watch it with her younger sister and things like that. And I was like, yeah, sure you did. Anyway. So yeah, a little bit of Pokemon Go. I don't play it much here, but I'm sure it is something that whenever we travel, like my parents live up in the Twin Cities, my wife's parents live over in Chicago. So when we travel, I'm sure I'll play it. Just not a lot of fun to play where I live currently. So let me take you guys on a little journey. We know that I'm the old guy of the podcast. Back in 1999, when I was a senior in high school, there was this little thing called the Snow Corps Tour, which still exists today. But in that year, the bands on the Snow Corps Tour were Everclear, Soul Coughing, Redman, and DJ Spooky. And at that concert, I bought a T-shirt. A T-shirt for the band Soul Coughing. If you've never listened to Soul coughing, you should check them out. They're pretty good. I still have that T-shirt to this day, and it's my favorite T-shirt I've ever owned. Now, that T-shirt, it still fits amazingly. Maybe not very well, or as well as it did back then. But it still fits. It's gotten pretty thin. It has a lot of holes in it. The collar is extremely frayed, and when you look at it, you're just like, something isn't right about that T-shirt. But when I put that T-shirt on, it just feels right. I know it's not perfect. There's definitely problems with it, but that T-shirt just feels good. And that is the perfect and the only thing I can say about the game I Am Setsuna, which I'm playing right now. If you guys have ever played or enjoy 90s, late 80s JRPGs from Square, this game is going to feel right at home for you. I'm not super far into it, probably 6-7 hours, but I'm really enjoying it. It's not perfect. There's definitely some problems with it. It's a bit repetitive. The story is pretty much so far seems to copy and paste to Final Fantasy X. The battle and the how you fight is very, very similar to Chrono Trigger, but everything just feels good when you're playing it. You just feel like you're in a place that you're meant to be. So I'm really, really enjoying I Am Setsuna. Like I said, it's not a 10, but it's a solid 7 or 8, but it feels better than that when I'm playing it. It just makes me very, very happy. So if you like those sorts of games, I would highly encourage you to check it out. I plan to do a full review of it once I actually finish it. They say it's about 20 to 25 hours, so I'm super busy with work and stuff right now, so I don't know when I'll get to it done, but really enjoying that. In addition, I'm playing a game that I would have said was a free game on PS Plus this month, but then Donnie yelled at me and said it's not free, so I will revise my statement and say that you are able to download this game and play it for $0 as long as you have an active PS Plus membership, and you'll be able to continue.
As long as you keep paying them how many dollars?
Hold on. And you will be able to continue playing it as long as you maintain that membership. However, if your membership ever lapses, you will lose access to the game. However, if you reestablish your membership after it lapses, you will once again have access to it. I think saying free is way easier than that, but that's what it technically is. Anyway, Fury...
I think it's just saying subscription is easier than all of it, because it's more accurate and it's one word.
Yeah, but I don't...
They're your subscription games for the month, just like GameFly.
But that's way longer than free. Anyway, So I'm playing Fury. It's really good. If you like boss fights and not much story,
I heard it's really hard.
It is hard. It's very, very hard. Well, I wouldn't say very hard. It's definitely challenging. They do have an easy mode, if you would, that you can play through the game, and then kind of get the story if you want to, and that one's not very challenging. The downside to that mode, you don't get any trophies for it, which is a bummer. The other downside is the story is just not that good. Like, it's not worth playing the easy mode to get through the story. The really real joy of the game is if you thrive on the challenge and getting better and knowing that you can advance and learn from your mistakes and come back and beat those bosses. Then you probably will really, really enjoy this game. If you're looking for a really cool story, I think you're probably going to be bummed about it. I plan to review this as well. Also not done with this one, but it is fun. It's a nice little break from when I'm playing I Am Setsuna to jump over to this. So I recommend it. If you haven't downloaded it, you still have, well, depending on when this comes out, a day or two. Or maybe you missed it if you didn't download it, depending on when this comes out. So Fury, really good. Definitely recommend that one as well. Over on my Vita, I've been playing Odin Sphere, and I'm not going to say the last word because I can't. But it's the remaster of the PS2 game. I played a little bit of the PS2 Odin Sphere when it came out. Just didn't have a ton of time to get into it. I am enjoying this game far more than I thought I was going to. I probably put 15 or 16 hours into it already, and I'm probably about a third of the way through it, so I definitely have a lot more time to go. Like I said, it's a 2D action role-playing game. There's some very light crafting, some very light leveling and things like that in it, but really it's just how big can you build your combo chain, how many dudes can you defeat, run around some maps and beat some dudes up. It's a really good time. The story's not super great. You revisit the same areas because you basically are playing through a similar story from the point of view of multiple different characters, so you're revisiting the similar areas a lot. But everyone's skills and the way they fight is different enough that when you revisit those areas, even though they're similar enemies that you've seen before and there's similar backgrounds and the art looks really similar to what you've seen before, it still feels different enough while you're playing it. And it's still enjoyable to jump into that. So really enjoying Odin Sphere. If you like those kind of games, I definitely recommend checking it out. It's available on PS4 and Vita. The Vita version chugs a little bit when there's a ton of enemies on screen, but I've had, like, Broforce on PS4 chugged way worse than this does. So I'm assuming if you played on PS4, you won't run into those issues. And then as a side note, on my continued quest to incorporate board games and tabletop into everything that we do, I have played a couple board games recently. I just finished up playing a game of Scythe. This is a game that was on Kickstarter that I backed. And it's a new game from Jamie Stegmaier that was released by Stonemaier Games. It takes place in an alternate history 1920s. And you control a leader of a fallen nation that's trying to bring back your country to greatness, essentially. It's a midweight 4X game, the whole explore, expand, exploit, exterminate. It's pretty simple to learn, but it's pretty complex as far as what you actually do in the game to win. The last game that I played, I swore up and down that my wife was absolutely destroying myself and the other people in the game. I was like, she's totally going to win this. I was kind of being not super nice to her during the game as a result. And then the game was over. I totally won. And I was like, what? I legitimately thought I had no chance of winning. So I do think there's a lot of depth there. You definitely have to, it's hard to keep track of kind of what exactly where you are as far as, am I in first? Am I in last? Is this strategy I'm working and doing anything well or not? So I really recommend it. It should be available to order, I believe, now if it's something you're interested in, but that's Scythe. And just one other board game, Flick 'em Up, is from the folks over at Pretzel Games. It's actually a dexterity game that's kind of fun where you're playing on the team of either outlaws or law enforcement. The game has a book of scenarios, so basically you pick out a scenario, set it up as it tells you to, and then you just try to complete the objective. In the game we played, I was the outlaw, and I had to try to smuggle 10 bags of gold out of the town. And basically you just flick a disc to move your character, and then if you want to, you can flick smaller discs to try to shoot at the opposing team. So it's a fun little dexterity game. You need to have a really smooth surface to play on, which probably sounds like, yeah, that makes sense. But, our kitchen table is very quote-unquote rustic, so it's a little uneven, which caused some interesting scenarios to happen and some interesting problems. But also really, really fun. That is Flick 'em Up. And that is about it for me as of late.
Well, there you have it. You got me really excited when you said you were smuggling multiple bags of, and then you said gold and let me down a little bit. But
what were you hoping for?
I don't know. For some reason, the first thing that popped into my head is you can be like heroin or something. I don't know. I guess it's an entirely different board game, I guess. Oh. But anyway, so it's time once again, fellas, to open up the mailbag and listen to some messages.
Message for you, son.
Okay, first up, Michael asks us if we were able to add one last additional character on the Super Smash Bros. Roster, who would we pick? And then he has a part 2, the same from Mario Kart, add one racer. So if you were able to add one person to Smash Bros. And one person to Mario Kart, who would you pick? So let's start with Donnie.
I knew it. I knew you'd come here first. And what a good question that hit me with no preparation at all.
Oh, dude.
Ah. All right, just so I don't hold up the podcast.
Well, this is a tough question because it assumes that I
It
remember
is.
everybody who is on Super Smash Brothers.
Can I ask a clarifying question while we all rack our brains?
I'll allow it.
Does it have to be a Nintendo character?
I will say no, but I will limit it to I will limit it to characters who have appeared on Nintendo consoles, though. So no Master Chief or anything like that.
Dang it. That trumps everything.
So how about this? I'll give you who I think would be a good character for Smash, and then you come back to me for Kart. In Smash Bros., I think Linkle would be a really cool addition. So I played Hyrule Warriors Legends on 3DS, and Linkle is a total badass. The crossbows, like with the guns, it's very Bayonetta style, but it's like Link. You know, she's got the whole Link get-up and everything. I think she'd be a really good Smash character. She's a female, which helps out in the Smash category, because it seems like if you're not like an inanimate object, most of them are dudes, so adds still a little diversity to the roster. And yeah, she'd have a very similar moveset like Bayonetta. She already appears on games, and she's got that Link flave, so Linkle for Smash.
Did you just say there wasn't enough females on Smash Brothers?
Well, I say that as normally I normally play as Bayonetta. I can't sit there and say that I play as all the girls. I mean, I know there's a bunch of them, but aren't a bunch of them like the same?
No.
So like my daughter wishes that there were more girls. So I'm more or less saying that for her.
So you got Samus, Zero Suit Samus, Zelda, Sheik.
So I wouldn't even think about them.
Princess
I'm thinking
Peach.
of yeah, I was thinking of Zelda and Sheik and Princess Peach.
You got the Villager.
That doesn't count.
Sure, it could be a girl or boy.
Okay.
I think that's. Oh no.
No, you can do Corrin as a girl, which I like.
Yep.
So, you know what, I take that back. You're right. There's some girls, but I mean, come on, there's like 50 people and there's like 9 girls.
Is it Rosalina in there too?
Yeah, again, Peach.
Yeah, but they have different moveset. Just because they look the same.
All right, then I'll change my answer.
You don't have to, I'm just saying.
But Girahim.
Who?
Girahim.
Who?
From Skyward Sword?
Oh, I didn't play Skyward Sword, so it's awesome.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Girahim is from Skyward Sword. He's also in Hyrule Warriors. Did you play that?
I did, but I don't remember any character called that. I didn't play it that much, though. I had only rented it, so.
Anybody else?
Yeah, actually, I was just looking at the list, and I was confirmed. I'm pretty sure that Zero from Mega Man X is not on.
That's correct.
Ooh.
I would love to see. Well, actually, now that I remember, Mega Man X in Super Smash, because I know Mega Man is in it, but Mega Man X has a lot of fans.
Yeah.
And I would love to see like the next title introduce Mega Man X alongside Zero with his melee combat and stuff like that. I would love to see those two characters join the. And I don't see why that would be too hard, because I mean you already have the Capcom licensing with Mega Man, so just get them to throw in a couple of Mega Man X characters.
That's true. I'll go next, and I actually have 2 for Smash Brothers. We'll just go around to Smash Brothers first. We'll come back to New Kart. So for me, I would add Captain Toad. I think that would be an intriguing character to add through. And Toad's never been in it at all, and I think Captain Toad stands out a little bit more. And then secondly, I would add Chibi Robo. He has combat with the cord. He has tons of gadgets and stuff. He's able to pull out items from inside of his head. So in my mind, it would work too, and they're both characters that are so far exclusive to Nintendo.
How does Captain Toad play Smash? Like, how's that even possible?
I think he would chug along like Bowser does. Like, he'd be more of a tank than he would be a swift character, even though he's small. Because he would, like, pull stuff, he could pull stuff out of his backpack.
You can't even hit him. He's like a chihuahua to everybody.
See, and that works even better. Well, Bowser Jr. is smaller than the other characters, too, and that works out.
But he flies.
Well, yeah. All right, Diddy Kong. Diddy's smaller than everybody else, too, so it could work. Just saying. Kyle, what about you?
So, this is really hard, because I haven't owned a Nintendo anything since Super Nintendo. So, I'm going to go with Luca from Chrono Trigger.
Okay.
And that way, because, she has a gun and a hammer, and she knows fire magic. So, I feel like she would be a nice little addition. Could maybe build some robots and things like that. So I think she would be pretty sweet. So I'm going to go with Luca.
Cool. All right, so then let's go back around with Mario Kart. And Donnie, who would you add to Mario Kart?
This is going to sound completely dumb, but I actually do think it would be a really good fit. And I would add Pokemon to Mario Kart 8. I think they'd be right at home. You could pick from a bunch of different you could do like a set of 5 or something like that. And just, all of your favorites. And I think they would look at home on the cart with everybody, and it'll look hilarious. Mm-hmm. So you'd have, like, the Villager and Mario, and then, of course, you'd have Pikachu and maybe, like, Gengar. Not the fighting types that, like, made their way to Smash. Not that I have anything against, the Sceptile and what's the... I keep thinking that Frogadier or whatever. What's the frog one that everyone loves? Mm-hmm. Everyone loves that. Like, that's, like, the most popular Pokemon amongst little kids that I have no idea. Like,
I can't remember his name, but I know Lucario's in there, Mewtwo's in there. Yeah.
Greninja?
Gray Ninja, there you go. Yeah, so I wouldn't want those guys. I don't want Gray Ninja and stuff in cart. I want like the little, like the little fat funny Pokemon.
Like Squirtle and Charmander.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So give me like Squirtle and like Cubone, fan favorite, and throw them in there, and that would look awesome in cart.
That works. I think that works. Q, how about you?
So I was thinking first, look, why don't you add Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong? But then I thought, well, technically they had their own racing game, right? Diddy Kong Racing back in the day in the 64. Also, with Rare mostly developing for Xbox now, there might be some licensing issues there where, Rare may not want to give their characters up to Nintendo or Xbox.
Donkey Kong's in cart.
Right, but I feel like that goes back. Like, I'm talking about adding, like, new characters, like Diddy Kong.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. No, I feel like old licenses, that's fine, but, like, for new ones, I don't know. So I thought, you know what, let's bring in the new kids in the block. Let's bring in the Splatoon characters. Don't overwhelm the game with them, like, maybe at 1, maybe at 2. But just kind of to bring to there's a lot of Splatoon fans out there, and, just honor those new Nintendo fans. Probably a lot of them are younger fans by just throwing some of their characters, their generation's characters, into a game like Mario Kart.
That works. And for me, I wrote down, now you have to kind of go with me here. So they've both been on Nintendo consoles consistently, but I have a twist that would make them different. So I say Samus and I say Sonic, but neither of them drive a car. Sonic would simply run instead.
Sonic runs.
And
I like that.
Samus curls up in a ball and rolls as a ball.
I don't like that as much.
Yeah, I like the Sonic one better, but Samus pops my head too at the same time. So, yeah.
Now, I will say, I wanted to double back to what Q said. I love the Splatoon idea. I think it'd be better if they had like a power-up and you could shoot paint for an extended period of time.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
That'd be freaking awesome.
Yeah. Or if they do the ink thing, change the color. Don't do the black ink. Do like the neon colors that Splatoon does too.
And actually have it like animate on the screen from like top to bottom or left to right.
Agree.
See, I'm really big into adding like heroes and nemesis. And even though Knuckles is not really a bad guy, he was originally a bad guy, I believe, in Sonic, and he became a good guy.
Yep.
So I would say
if he was the bad guy.
Right. If you add Sonic, don't add Dark Sonic or whatever the Shadow.
Don't say the Black Sonic. That's not appropriate. We got to be politically correct here. Jesus.
Word. Super Saiyan Sonic was total ripoff from Dragon Ball Z, though.
Oh yeah,
the golden one. I'm like, really, guys? No, but like throw in Knuckles with Sonic. I mean, I'm always like, I'm adding in pairs. If you're gonna add like one guy, add a nemesis or a rival. That's why I thought about Mega Man and X and Zero for Super Smash.
I agree.
We've got to play kart.
Yeah, we do. We haven't done that in a while.
I feel like we haven't played in a while. Has Birdo in kart?
Nope.
Dude, that's my next one.
There you Kyle, how about you? Who would you add to Mario Kart?
Man, so this may have already happened because I haven't played Mario Kart since Mario Kart 64. So this has happened recently. I apologize.
You're going to say they should add Bowser.
He's gonna be like
No.
Yoshi.
Luigi should totally be in Mario Kart.
This
It's
is a
not
little-
fair.
This is a little edge, more edge than that. But I would love to see, and this actually is more along the line of Kevin, and this may have been DLC in the newest one. I don't know. I would love for them to have an F-Zero car.
They do.
Yeah,
They
that
do
happens.
when they have the car, yeah.
Well, see,
And they have a course too, and it's awesome.
That's true. But
I'm
they don't.
so
but you
smart.
can't be Captain Falcon though. You cannot be Falcon.
That-
So.
well,
Get over it.
No, I'm just saying.
Let it
You have to
go.
Just throw them in too.
man, then I'll be. That was my only idea. That was the only thing I could come up with.
All right, that's fair enough. So the other question we got in, James wants to know if Sony were to make a PS1 classic system similar to the mini NES that's coming out, what would be some of the titles we would want to see on the device? So let's pick, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3, whatever first comes to your heads, and we'll name a couple titles that would be in our pick if they were to release one, just like Nintendo did. So since it's Sony, let's throw it to our resident Sony expert. And Kyle, why don't you go first?
Well, of course, not one that I feel like I could answer way more than 2, but I'll pick 2 only. I'll go with. Oh man, that's hard to pick 2. I'll go with Castlevania Symphony of the Night and Metal Gear Solid.
Boom. Quick and easy and good.
Those are great.
Donnie, how about you?
Metal Gear is an easy one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay away from first party. I'm gonna go with Clock Tower. Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna go with Clock Tower.
Nice.
My favorite PlayStation game, man. I love that game. I want to say I want to say Crash something, but I didn't like the original Crash games. Like Crash Team Racing.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay. Q, then how about you? Name 2.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Look, man, I know
What a PlayStation is?
Yeah, what is this like a
this
a
new?
smartphone? No, I'm trying to. Obviously, I was playing Mighty Number 9, and that left a very bad taste in my mouth. That's just been, you know. So I've really been kind of craving some like classic Mega Man stuff, and if I remember well, the PlayStation was the console to play Mega Man in, Mega Man X, because those games never really came to the Xbox as far as I remember. So I would love to see like Mega Man X, I think 1 or 2. I don't know. There was some that came on the PlayStation 1, I believe, that I played.
They did. They had done a collection because a lot of them were on the original SNES first, but then I know they did a collection for PS1, if I recall.
Well, I don't know if that counts, but considering that it's been a
Why
long
not?
time since we've seen a Mega Man game, I'm just craving some original Mega Man content. So
Heck yeah. Anything else?
for me, I don't have anything right now.
Okay.
His other pick.
You're craving Mega Man?
I am craving Mega Man.
You know, they made that Mega Man game.
The Mega Man Collection?
No. The remaster. Or not the remaster, but what's Mighty Number 9? How are you enjoying that game? That's a Mega Man game, right?
No.
It's a Mega Man game. If you had left it outside during a storm, then you dragged it back in. You threw it in the dryer for 3 days nonstop, so it dried up and it lost all sense of function. And then you threw it back outside and you drove over it. Then
I can't wait for you to review that game, man. I can't wait for you to review that game.
Or it's Mega Man on 10 bags of heroin that Kyle smuggled. So.
Oh my gosh.
For me, the first 2 games that popped up in my head would be Power Rapper the Rapper
Nice.
and
Good one.
Crazy Taxi for me. Those are some.
I always associate that with Dreamcast.
Yeah, me too. But it was out on PS1, and I know it was on like GameCube too. So it made its way around. I think it was Legendary. And it was first on Dreamcast, but then when that went south, they brought it over to the other consoles at the time. So.
Hey, what was that Samurai RTS game where like you're in command of like different armies? Was that a PS1 game?
Dude, it's Dynasty Warriors.
Dynasty
No.
Warriors. No.
What? That wasn't that. No, it was.
Shogun Warriors?
Maybe.
It was Dynasty Warriors. It was
No, but Dynasty Warriors, you're always
Dynasty-
one guy.
And you're in China in Dynasty Warriors, and in this game you commanded like different samurai armies. It was almost
Dynasty Warriors, I remember like moving armies around, like assigning orders to factions.
I just remember one of my older. I have some cousins that are way older than me, and they could afford like a PlayStation when I was a kid. And I remember like they were playing this game, and I thought it was super cool, but I could never play it. They never let me play it. But I love samurai, and I was like, oh man, I wish I could command samurai armies, but I never got. I don't remember what that game was called. Anyway, it'll come to me later. Oh well. Kind of sad.
That wraps up the mailbag for this week. So as always, I want to remind you can tweet at us with questions or comments at _PSVG. You can hit us up on Facebook at facebook.com/playsomevideogames, or you can email your questions into playsomevideogames@gmail.com. So now it is time to move on to the main topic for this week. And Kyle actually introduced this topic, if you will, in our group chat as we bounce around ideas here and there. And he brought up a good thing is when would we stop gaming? So as I say every week, never stop gaming. What would bring gamers to eventually stop? Or have you had that experience in the past and then came back to gaming? Or will you just never stop at all, et cetera, et cetera. So we kind of wanted to talk a little bit and bounce around ideas as to when or if we ever saw ourselves stopping playing, or if we ever did and came back eventually to it. So, Kyle, since you kind of introduced the topic, I'm going to throw it to you first. So, discuss, if you will, the end of the road for you as far as gaming is concerned.
Well, I see the end of the road in a few possibilities. Number one, I think, could it possibly happen? Sure, I think it definitely could. I think where I am right now is I play not the most amount of games that I ever had, but definitely more than I have at other places in my life for certain. There were a couple times in life where I did not play many games. In college, I honestly didn't play that much. I would play Mario Party or GoldenEye or Mario Kart and stuff with my roommates. But outside of that, we didn't really play many video games while I was in college. And then I have this habit of whenever I get a new hobby or something that I kind of get passionate about, I tend to forget everything else I do and dive really deep into that for a while. I did that when I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a couple of years. I didn't play many video games at that time, didn't do a lot of the other stuff because I was, rolling 5 days a week with that. So for me, I think if there's ever something else that grabs my attention like that, I think gaming will definitely take a back seat again. Just because, like I said, I'm one of those people who, when I get excited or passionate about something, I have to know and learn everything about it. So I jump in full force and tend to significantly reduce the amount of time I'm doing in other things or other hobbies that I might have. I think just realistically, have to be wary of jobs and things like that. So, if things got tight or if I were to lose a job or my wife were to lose a job, obviously it's a fun hobby, but it would have to go. Like, that's one of the things that's an extraneous expense that I don't have to spend money on. So, just being kind of real about it that, hey, life could change. I might not be as fortunate as I am right now in order to be able to buy games and buy systems and do the things that I want to do. I'm content. Right now I'm looking at going back to school next fall. I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to go get my PhD or get a second master's degree. And if that happens, I think the amount of time I would have would probably be severely cut back. So how much gaming would I realistically be able to do there? So, I think there's a few things that come up, but I don't ever see myself not playing games in some way, shape, or form. Like I said, unless it became a total money thing where I just couldn't afford to anymore, I can't think of a scenario where I would completely abandon it or abandon it for a while and not eventually come back. So I was trying to think if there was a huge scandal in the industry, or if, I'm a PlayStation guy, so if it turned out that Sony was selling everything about me to other companies and then I lost everything, if one of these worst case scenarios happened, would I ever come back? And, I probably would, just to a different place, so I don't know. I don't know if there is something that would definitively make me stop maybe until it happens, other than, like I said, being realistic about the money thing. Because I think, though I always talk about how I'm surprised games aren't more and they are cheaper than they've ever been, it's still an expensive hobby. It's still not a cheap hobby that everyone can do, unless you're on the Wii U, because there's so few games to buy anyway, so you're fine. Oh, sorry. I'm kidding. That was, again, part of our chat earlier. But yeah, no, I really enjoy gaming. And like I said, it definitely has ebbed and flowed in my life. There are parts of gaming that I'm definitely not as knowledgeable about. But yeah, I always come back. It's kind of like that rock I always return to. So,
I mean, it is true. It definitely is a cheaper hobby, especially when you consider heroin. But but I digress. For me, I think what you said, Kyle, makes a lot of sense. Obviously, you have the aspect, something were to happen and, financially you can't continue gaming, then that makes sense. But for me, I'd probably still game, just play the same stuff and not, purchase new items or limit my purchases more than I kind of already do. For me, I mean, when I was a kid, I played games, from very early on and have my whole life. I've always had some gaming consoles, not multiple in the home at all times. So for me, as I've gotten older, yes, the amount of time I'm able to dedicate to it has gone down. And with the creation of our little website and podcast too, it's gone down even more because some extra time's dedicated to that. But yeah, for me, I think the only way I would stop, to be honest, would be there's a couple of things come to mind. Number one, if for some reason everything went virtual reality and we got to the point that like maybe we weren't using controllers anymore, I think that would probably put a kibosh in it for me. Or along the same lines as the whole financial situation, if something were medically to go wrong with me, knock on wood, and like, I lost eyesight or something like that, and I like physically just wasn't able to continue gaming, then for me that would probably be the end. But I mean, I use it as such an escape and a hobby and a way to unwind. And much like people love maybe reading or going to the movies and watching those, that's what gaming is for me, and I just enjoy the whole experience. So I don't see it being something I will quote unquote grow out of. I mean, I've been doing it for almost 30 years at this point, so if I haven't grown out of it yet, I don't see it happening in the next 30 or more. So I mean, that's just me. Let's throw it to Q. What's the end of the gaming road for you, if there is one?
Yeah, so, man, when this topic, when I found out what the topic was for this show, I was like, man, that's going to get dark, like, I don't believe that I would ever stop gaming. Of course, like, there's those, crazy life situations, like, medical situations where, suddenly, life turns upside down and you're like, either you can't afford it or time just becomes, it just belongs to something else. But outside of those extreme situations, I don't believe that I would ever stop gaming on my own will. I've always, whenever I get into a game, and when I say I get into it, when I realize that I'm spending a lot of time investing into a game, my wife and I have some good communication. So I go like, hey, like, like I noticed I've been playing a lot this game. Like the last game that I played hardcore like that was a Dragon Age Inquisition. Like, I was spending a lot of hours in front of my monitor in the office just grinding away. And so basically I check in with her. I'm like, hey, like, do you think I should cut it back? Are you okay? So basically we had that good communication. She respects my gaming. And she, obviously from the gamer husband, newbie wife, she even embraces some of it herself. So, obviously my wife is supportive of my gaming. I feel like what would keep me from gaming would be if for some reason my intensity, my competitiveness when it comes to gaming somehow keeps me from fulfilling other responsibilities. Like right now I don't have kids. I know some of Donnie and Kevin, you have kids. I don't know what my experience with kids will be like. I don't know what they, hopefully, I'll be able to play more game. I will keep playing games, but you never know. You never know what life is gonna be like. So if for some reason gaming got in the way of me being a good father or being a better father or being a good husband or a better husband, I would probably have to sacrifice games. Like I have my priorities are very set, and I would rather die knowing that I was a good dad and a good husband than knowing I had a 2.0 KD on Halo 5, or that I got all the exotic weapons on Destiny, or that I got every achievement on Dragon Age, Yeah, so I mean, I really, so I guess I'll attach an example to this. I spent over 1,000 hours on Destiny. I think I say that every once in a while. I know that since day one till about probably day one was in September 2014. From day one of Destiny till like maybe May or June of 2016. So for a solid 6 to 7 months, I played Destiny every day for at least 2 or 3 hours. And that's how I basically loaded up 1,000 hours of Destiny. And at some point, things just kind of broke, and I was like, you know what? I need to stop playing Destiny for a while. Like, I noticed, like, I just got really unhealthy, and I just felt crappy, and I felt like I hadn't seen my friends in a while. Like, the friends that even the friends that I played Destiny with on the Xbox, I still hadn't seen them in person in a while, even though they lived like 20 minutes away down the road. No, it was bad because, and I feel like in many ways, like I believe that gaming communities are real. Like if you're in a clan or a guild or something like that, I think that's real community. I believe those are real people that you can become really good friends with. I totally, some people say, well, that's not real. People are antisocial to play video games. That's not true at all. I'm an incredibly social gamer. I could be playing a campaign game, and if you invited me to play a game with you, I would rather play with someone else than play by myself. So I don't believe that gaming is antisocial, but I do believe it's healthy to actually, go outside and do things with people, outdoors, and go out and keep up with relationships beyond gaming and stuff like that. So I feel like if I ever notice, or if my wife ever called me out and said, you know what, like I feel like you need to step back from this for a little bit, I would immediately be like, you know what, if you feel like you need to say that to me, then that means you're probably right. So I think I'll play video games till I die. I'm gonna die playing Halo 20,000. Master Chief is like the grandson of Master Chief, and the grandson of the Arbiter. Kicking ass. I'm sorry, is that gonna be a blip? Oh well. But outside of my friends or my wife saying, hey man, like you should probably cut back on this a little bit, I'll play video games till I can't pick up a controller anymore.
So question for you. You mentioned kids. Now, would your children be referred to as Lobo Minis or Mini Ricans?
Oh, such a good question. That is the best question of the night. Forget the Mario Kart and Super Smash question. That is the question of the night. There will be called Lobo Rican. No, that's not good.
Lobo Ricos?
Lobo Ricos. I'm trying not to be insulting to my Puerto Rican brethren. Let's just go with Mini Ricans.
Okay. We'll let that one simmer then. So let's throw it to you, Donnie. What's your opinion? What is the end of the gaming road if there were to be one for you?
I don't think I would stop gaming. I have played video games since I can remember doing anything, really. Like, before I knew how to write, I played video games, so it's something I've always done. And there are periods in time where I didn't do it as much as I have done it in other periods of time. Like, when I was really, like, knee-deep in college, I played games, but very, very few. It's a big reason why The Walking Dead hit me so hard, because I was right in the middle and I was earning my degree, and it was something I could actually finish for once. I have thought about this before, as much as I'm sitting here thinking about it and sounding like I haven't. I don't feel like I would stop gaming, but I definitely could see a freeze. Mm-hmm. Like, it seems like it's getting faster now, but every 3 or 4 years there's something new, and it's another console and it's another hardware. And I'm reaching that point in life where, if we have any teenage listeners, I feel for you, because I think we've all been there. I used to, buy a console and then scrounge my money for a game, and scrounge my money for another game, and scrounge my money for another game, and then that one game would come, and I'd trade all those games in to get the one game, and then that next console would come, and I'd trade all that in to get the next one, and I always had, like, one thing. Now I'm at that point in my life where I've got, like, 5 things. I've got consoles and games everywhere, and it's almost like I might have too many of them. And I'm getting to that point where I'm starting to wonder, like, how much more I can go with that, because I don't necessarily want to trade things in anymore. Now I've reached that point where, the price of ownership, and I've more or less learned a lesson, probably is the best way of putting it, for trading it in. Kids, don't trade in your hardware. You will regret it one day. I've reached that point where I honestly wonder if I'm going to, like, get out of the race. I don't feel like it's anytime soon. Like, I'm very excited to see what Scorpio is and NX, obviously. But I'm thinking, like, I could see that time where I'm like, let's maybe give it another 10 years. Like, I'm about to turn 30. So let's say I'm like, Donnie is like 40, 45. And start thinking about retirement and things like that. I don't think when I'm that old, I don't think I'm going to be buying video game systems every 3 years. I think I'm just going to have, like, my video game systems. I don't know what those will be. Maybe at that point in life I'll be craving an NES Mini. I doubt it. But I may have like a Wii U, and that might be that video game thing that I play, that Saturday morning when I want to go back to being, go back to that childhood moment, or just be a little young in life. So, does that make any sense? I feel like I'm just like rambling here, but it's definitely. I don't think I'll stop gaming. I think I'm going to be like that old dude in the nursing home who's like playing Wii Sports.
I'll kick your ass in Mario Kart.
Oh, man. Like just playing Mario Golf like all alone. Just like that sad person. It's like all he does. He just plays Mario Golf over and over and over again. But yeah, I mean, I do love the games. I think we all do. Obviously, we have a blog. But I mean, I love what games do for like social situations, and I love what games do for like families. Some of my best memories have been the last 2 years where my kids have really gotten into video games and we've had a blast playing together. And I feel like, when I'm older, so in, like 55, 60-year-old Donnie, I think my kids are going to want to play games with me.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be like, I haven't seen my dad in a long time. I went to college, and they're going to want to come home on Thanksgiving. They're like, Dad, pull out that Wii U. Like, let's go back to that moment, while we're home. Or at least that's what I'm hoping.
They're not going to pick the Wii U, let's be honest.
Me and my kids love the Wii U, man.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. If you've played games with us, that is a legit thing. We love the Wii U. So I don't know. I mean, you might be right. There might be something crazy, different. But I don't think I'll quit. I don't think there's an end game. I do think that might be a situation where I just stop upgrading and I stop looking at new things and I just kind of live in the moment for a long period of time.
That makes sense. I like what you said about, helping with social situations, and you said the family and stuff. See, you talk about, I think my kids will want to play with me. I thought where you were going to go with it is like, okay, at Thanksgiving and all the whole family's around, all the relatives are around. Am I going to take the stealth approach and take them out one at a time, or am I just going to go in guns blazing and take out the whole family at once? So that's what I thought you were referring to, but I don't know, it's Kyle's heroin. So
it was gold, I tell you.
You have a problem, Kyle. We need to talk. All right, so we kind of all had similar, scenarios going on there where we don't really see an end of the road for us. So let's throw it this way. So how much time have we spent gaming? I know it's kind of hard to put a number on. For me, it's probably thousands and thousands of hours, but more intriguing then, what else do you think you could have accomplished with that time as opposed to gaming?
Oh man, that's a dangerous question.
it really is, and like I'm trying to think of different answers. So I'll go first. I mean, it's weird because I've kind of always had that as a hobby for me, so it's kind of hard to think of like, whoa, what else have I enjoyed that I would like to do. For me, one of the things, and this, I mean, you guys don't, you know me through the gaming community, but not prior to that, really. For me, I would probably write again. I used to do a lot of writing, like screenplays and stuff like that, and I would produce and direct plays and stuff like that. So I was big into that culture as a hobby too. But I mean, that's when I had a lot of free time, and I still did gaming. But I mean, who knows? Maybe I would have continued writing or something like that, which I stopped years and years ago when I was in college. But I mean, that's the only thing that came to my mind. Maybe my career would have went a different way had I not gamed as much. I mean, I don't know. I'm in a comfortable job now and everything like that. So, but maybe I wouldn't have been attracted to Best Buy for so long if I wasn't like, hey, electronics, Yeah, I mean, that's it for me. So, Kyle, what do you think you could have done with all that free time?
Well, I feel like at some point people are going to walk in my attic when I'm an old man, and I'm going to have all of these things that I've halfway done. And I feel like in some ways gaming has contributed to that, which not that it's a bad thing, because I enjoy my time with gaming, and I don't necessarily I don't regret it. But I used to, actually, similar to Kevin, I used to write a lot. I have a book that is a third or a quarter written. I have a screenplay that I've written that needs a rewrite desperately. I used to draw a lot, and I just don't do that anymore. I have a board game that I've halfway designed that's sitting in a box.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, like, I have, like, all of these projects and all of these hobbies that I get into. I used to, like, alter magic cards, and I used to do all of these things that, once you get older and you have to start prioritizing, gaming has continued to be there, and all these other things have kind of fallen off to the wayside. So for me, I don't think I would have saved the world or figured out world hunger or world peace or anything like that. But I do think I probably would have had the time to finish all those other projects that I have half started working on or have half finished that are just sitting around the house somewhere. So, yeah, I just think I probably would have a more diverse hobby palette, maybe have a couple other things that I could say that I accomplished. Not that they would have done anything, not that I was going to sell that book or sell that screenplay, but I think I probably would have. It's true, you don't, but I think I would have a few more things that would be finished in my attic than half finished in my attic.
So there you go. So both Kyle and myself so far would have been more creative. So Donnie, what about you?
I did some rudimentary math here. I have no idea if this is even logical. I figure I beat 12 to 15 games a year. And if those games are roughly, most games are between 20 and 50 hours. So I'm going to take the median in there. I'm going to go with 30. If I multiply those together, that means I play about 350 hours of video games a year. And if I times that by 29, that's 406 days. So if my math is even close, I am 50 days over a year of my entire life has been spent playing a video game.
Yeah, but you haven't been playing for 29 years. Then you were playing.
That's true. That's true. But still, it's a lot larger number.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, using your math, I just used your math real quick, and I'm at over 10,000 hours too. So
yeah,
it's scary
a lot
thought.
of hours.
Scary thought. So what would you have done with that time had you not been gaming? You think?
It's funny. I don't think we've ever talked about it, Kyle. You said you designed a board game. I actually got awards in middle school for designing board games. I used to do that quite a bit myself. I don't think I would have done that, though. I think I'd be a lot more active. I definitely wouldn't weigh as much. When I was in college and I wasn't playing games, I was working out a lot. And I was like 40 pounds heavier then than I am now, which is roughly about 4 years difference. Because now I'm playing a ton of video games and I am not working out at all. So I definitely think I'd be a lot more active. I'd be in better shape. I'd probably be a lot better at my job. That's an easy one to say, but I would dare call myself like a programmer, but I'm more like a hack. I'm a self-taught programmer. So I think I'd know a lot more code. It's definitely something I really, really enjoy doing. I love working on our website, as all the guys can see or attest to. They probably wish I'd leave it alone for a while and quit touching stuff. It's a real fun hobby for me, and I would love to just take a month away from everything that I do, just work, games, the website, everything, just turn everything off. And I would love to really try to learn coding the proper way, because I've taught myself a lot, just self-taught. And I think it'd be interesting to actually invest into some of that education. But I just don't have time, because it's, if I want to, then it robs, from something to pay for something else. So I think I'd be a really good programmer who didn't weigh as much and was more active if I didn't play video games.
It's funny because I went to school for web design stuff, and I've forgotten probably more than you've ever learned already.
A lot of people say that. And, the guys at my work, just side tangent, the guys at my work, my IT folks that support me, they tell me constantly, I don't know if this is true or not, they tell me constantly, like, you know what, D? That's what they call me. They're like, you're doing it the right way, actually. He's like, you have any idea how many tons of people went to school to learn this and didn't come out of it with anything? Yep. He's like, you've actually learned it as a trade, you apply it. Yep. He's like, that's why it sticks with you. But I always feel like I'm missing something. I feel like an idiot. Like I'm constantly, tinkering and tweaking.
No, not to completely sidebar the whole conversation, but no, it honestly makes sense, Donnie, because when I started coding and doing HTML and stuff, that's when the internet first kind of came out, and I self-taught myself from basically middle school till I got to college, and I learned doing it by hand, whereas when I got to college, oh no, you got these programs called Dreamweaver and stuff, and it does the code for you. And it just seems so ludicrous. I'm like, well, what if it doesn't work? How do I know how to fix it if this program does all the work for me? So I agree with them. You're doing it the right way. Trust me. As far as the weight thing, I agree with you with that too, because that's an issue with me. But Kyle has a great remedy for losing weight quickly. Kyle, what is that?
You really want me to say heroin, don't you?
So
I bet you could get a lot more gaming done.
That's true.
That's true.
There's a lot of benefits to heroin use, apparently.
Well, let's not promote that now. we might have some younger listeners. But we said heroin like 30 times as a podcast. So, Q, what would you do with all the free time besides heroin?
Oh my gosh.
Come up with a better nickname.
See, this question is interesting because I actually have many other nicknames. Q is the one that I tolerate the most. That's
I was talking about Lobo Rican.
Oh gosh. Okay, so I'll probably be about 20 pounds lighter. Definitely, for sure. Actually, when going back to Destiny, I put so many hours into Destiny that I actually like gained a lot of weight probably within Destiny's first 6 months. So yeah, that was not a good time in my life. I would probably bench press about 100 pounds more than I bench press right now. I would probably be stronger than Coach Mo. I take that back. I'm already stronger than Coach Mo. Yeah. I would just be way stronger than Coach Mo.
Oh man, I wish Coach Mo was here.
He's here. He can feel my bashing through the force. I would have probably kept up MMA, mixed martial arts, more, and I would have probably even done some amateur fights. I don't know if I would have ever gone like pro or ever like actually like gotten paid for it, but I think I probably would have kept it up more and probably focused more on my technique and training and stuff like that. Yeah, I've probably done that. I would have probably gotten better grades in school, but not in undergrad because my gaming in undergrad, even so I would consider myself a gamer in undergrad, I wasn't a hardcore gamer. Like, I played a lot of Halo, I played a lot of Left 4 Dead, I played a lot of video games, Assassin's Creed, but I wouldn't say like I was grinding out games in very short periods of time like I did later in life. But here's the thing though, this is why I don't like this question. Because some of my best friends, the people that I actually go and hang out with in person, the people that I confide in, and the people that I like, my actual best friends that live, 10 minutes away, 15 minutes, 20 minutes away from my house. One of the things that we did early in life that actually got us to bond together was playing Halo 2. Like, we spent entire weekends in high school playing Halo 2. And then we played Gears, and then we played, Battlefield and stuff like that. And it really feels to me that if I hadn't become a gamer, or if I hadn't been into gaming at an early point in my life, I probably wouldn't have made those friends. Or maybe I would have, but maybe they wouldn't be as close. I don't know. I feel like Halo 2 was such a critical part of my high school in developing good friends and just spending time with those people, that I feel like gaming led to deeper conversations that made those friends into really good friends. It's like gaming was like a medium through which, by bonding, playing this stupid video game where we shoot at each other, we were able to engage in actually, a deeper level of just humanity in a human relationship. So it's almost like I owe like my friendships to gaming. And this is a shout out to my, I'm gonna give a shout out to them, my buddies Andrew and Matthew, and even some of my newer friends like Calapigian Smith and Sushi Poop, who I play with on Xbox all the time. These are really good friends of mine, and that I made through gaming. So it's almost like if it wasn't for gaming, I probably would be a much lonelier person, So yeah, I feel like in many ways my relationships are a product of the gaming era. And I feel like those friendships probably wouldn't be as strong, or they would be much different. Let's say that they would be much different if it hadn't been for a couple key video games in my youth that brought us together. So yeah,
there you go. So to wrap that all up, we'd all be thinner, more creative, less sociable, smarter, and not taking heroin. So, I mean, that sounds good to me. Donnie, you had one other thing you wanted to add?
Yeah, I completely forgot about it until Q brought up MMA. I mean, for those of you that didn't know, I played golf in high school and college, and was good at golf. I was a state runner-up and regional champion. I haven't played golf in years. So I'd probably be much better at golf. It's one of those things that I just kind of fell out of. It's why I love golf video games so much, but I don't have time to golf anymore. Time or money. It's so expensive, and it takes all day, and you got to have friends and stuff. And I don't have friends, and the friends that I do have don't want to play golf, so yeah, it's something I've given up on that I probably would not have had I not played video games.
All right, so I think that wraps up our conversation about the end of the road for gaming. So cue the, not Q as in Lobo Rican, but as Q as in line up the music. It's time for some news.
This week in Play Some Video Game News.
All right, let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Kyle, hit us up with some news.
So the PS Plus games for the month of August were announced, and all PS Plus subscribers sighed with great sadness at the list.
Oh, all those free games, those games that come absolutely free.
Yeah, there actually is a couple I'm excited about, but I'm trying to say the general sentiment here. So the games that are coming out or that we're getting for $0 if you have PS Plus or if you subscribe,
If you pay them money monthly.
No, just once a year. Tricky Towers and Rebel Galaxy on PS4, Yakuza 5 and Retrograde on PS3, and Patapon 3 and Ultron on Vita. Ultron is also on PS3 and PS4. Overall, pretty weak month for the month of August, I will say. I did watch some co-op play of Tricky Towers on PS4, and I'm actually I was really down on that game, and then I watched some videos of people playing it together.
It looks fun.
It actually looks pretty fun.
Yeah, it does.
So I'm hoping that my wife and I will be able to play that one together, maybe get some videos up on the website. So not a great month, especially compared to what I think is a pretty strong month for Xbox. So that's it, the PS Plus games for August.
There you go. We talked about this offline. I said I'm more excited for the PS3 lineup. I think Yakuza is a great game, so I'm looking forward to playing that on my PS3, ironically enough. I've downloaded more games on PS3 lately and PS Plus than my PS4, but Tricky Towers does look like fun. So, Donnie, throw it to you.
Speaking of games with gold, that lineup was also announced, and it is way better. They're also not free, so these are games that you have to pay them for, subscription, either monthly or annually. But their subscription games this week are Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate on Xbox One, WWE 2K16 on Xbox One. That game just came out. Xbox 360 is getting Spelunky and Beyond Good and Evil HD, and both of those are backwards compatible. So if you have an Xbox One, you're getting all 4 of those games this month for your subscription payment.
So they're not free?
They're not free. You know, we've never really got into that. I do want to ask, do you guys realize, I was thinking about this when Kyle and I were in the chat talking about it. Do you guys realize this? For every one of the games that you don't play in these services, that more or less means you're paying more money to play for the other ones?
Yeah. Yep.
I wonder if you did that math, like what it would end up being, like how much money you paid to play, WWE 2K16.
I download everything, so eventually I go back and I will play it someday, like when I literally have nothing else to do, and be like, oh, I'll give this a shot. So I don't feel completely ripped off. However, I am very jealous of the WWE game. I was secretly hoping when Xbox had leaked theirs out that Sony would have a WWE game as well, but,
Beyond Good and Evil, too. It's good stuff. Spelunky's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, Spelunky's awesome, but that's...
Yeah, Spelunky's awesome. I'm not going to let you say that. Spelunky's really
when you compare it to Beyond Good and Evil and WWE, it's not.
That's true, but when you compare it to Tricky Towers...
Hey, you haven't played Tricky Towers yet.
That's
that
true.
might be great.
You know what? You're absolutely right, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say Spelunky's better. Because I've played Spelunky. Spelunky's freaking awesome.
It is a very good game.
All right. Q, stop the insanity and give us some news.
I have really sad news because I actually was really considering buying this game earlier today, but through a process of 30 minutes, it went from a game that I was going to play with my wife to a game that I'm really angry about. Marvel Ultimate Alliance, the remaster, came out today on Xbox One, and it came out I think a couple of days ago on PC and PlayStation 4. And I don't know what happened to this game. It's an Activision remaster. Like, obviously they're paying for it. They have the IP, and it has no achievements. So you're charging $40 for a video game, a remaster of a video game, without any achievements on the Xbox, even though it has trophies in the PlayStation 4. And I really wanted to buy this game, and I really didn't like the price. It's a $40 game, and I'm like, man, that's like a lot of money for a 360 remake. And it doesn't even look that remaster. Like, I mean, it looks okay, but it doesn't look amazing.
Hey, Q?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, man, but I saw earlier before we started podcasting, Activision said that the achievement problem's been fixed.
It hasn't fixed?
So yeah, achievements should pop on that game now.
Well, you know what? You get something wrong the first time.
Game still doesn't look good. It doesn't look anything like a remastered game, in my opinion. But I just wanted to get that one for you.
No, awesome. No, I appreciate that. I mean, it's definitely a game that I want to play, but I think I was talking to Nathan earlier today on the chat. It's definitely a game that I'm going to look forward to probably around Christmas time when through the Black Friday gods, it comes down to like $15 or $20 or something like that. But anyway, yeah, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2 are out on all the consoles, and they are crap. But if you're on PC, watch out because those games are really broken.
Yeah, if you're on PC, just don't. They're already claiming it's a worse debacle than Arkham Knight coming to PC or not coming to PC, if you will. So it just shows you how bad that is. I'm with you, and anybody that's listened to us, since early on, we've talked about Marvel Ultimate Alliance a few times. Nathan and I have gone on and on about how that game needs to come back or another one needs to come out. So when this dropped, I was excited. I'm like, all right, heck yeah, this is great news. And then they dropped the price tag. Like, oh, if you want one, it's $39.99, and if you want them both, it's $60. Now, there's no upscaling in graphics.
As I say, I didn't like the remaster part. I've been hearing it called a re-release.
Yeah, I've heard a re-release. I haven't heard remaster either. The only thing they said is that there was going to be slight upscaling so that it ran better, but it wasn't going to graphically make a difference. But, I mean, either way, if you wanted to release it and not really touch it up, I'm okay with that. Is it ideal? No. But then you charge $10 for the game. You don't charge somebody $40 for a game that is, very old and, very dated and, Marvel's on a huge kick now. Everybody is on the Marvel bandwagon right now. Some of these characters, even lesser-known Marvel characters, are coming to the forefront. So people have been pining for some sort of Marvel game to come out, and this is what you throw out there. It's like, you just can't get away with that nowadays. So it's very odd, but same as Q, if I see a great deal where I can snag them both for like $10, $15, then heck yeah, I'm on board. But, I mean, just to come out the gate and asking $40 and $60 for both is absolutely asinine for this market to try and do that.
Further evidence that Activision is the devil's armpit. Hashtag devil's armpit.
Hashtag devil's armpit. There you go. Kyle, what else you got for news, buddy?
So Yakuza 0 has a release date in North America. Yakuza 0, the long-awaited prequel to the well-loved Yakuza series that came out in Japan this year, or was it even last year? Might have been last year even. But anyway, has a release date for North America, and it's January 24th, 2017. Great opportunity for you to jump into the Yakuza series if you have not played it before. And honestly, things are starting to shape up a little bit here for Sony's exclusives between now and February or so next year. They don't quite have a Gears of War, but they have a couple of nice little titles between now and then. So Yakuza 0, January 24th, 2017.
Agreed. And Yakuza is a game that a lot of people miss on the radar. It's severely underrated, at least in the Western world. It's a much better game than people give it credit for, or if they even had a chance at playing it. So that's good for them. Donnie, anything else?
That Darksiders remaster we've been talking about was actually confirmed, and it is Darksiders War Mastered Edition, just like their definitive edition that they released last year. Notes: double the texture resolutions, 1080p for all versions on console, locked 60 frames per second on PS4, Xbox One, 30 seconds for Wii U owners, and all signs point to a late fall release, although it still does not have a release date. And your Nintendo eShop update came out today, and this week is the celebration of Kirby. As I mentioned earlier, Kirby's Dream Course is out on 3DS, new 3DS, SNES, Virtual Console support. Absolutely worth your $8. Great game. So is a demo for Kirby Robobot, or Planet Robobot. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of us, when we saw that at E3, were like, oh god, another Kirby game.
No, I was excited. I was excited for it.
You were excited when it came out. when the reviews hit, it actually reviewed really well, which I think piqued a lot of people's interest. And so the demo was announced for Europe a few weeks ago, and we've all been scouring blogs to see if we're getting it in America, and nobody knew. And then today they just dropped it. So go get the demo and test it out. Also, worth your money if you're interested. Kirby's Epic Yarn arrived on Wii U via the Wii compatibility, and that is one of the highest rated Wii games you will ever find. One of the most, I think it's probably the best Kirby game. Is that like going too far?
No, I played it. I had a lot of fun. My only not complaint is it is extremely easy and you kind of can't lose, but I had a ton of fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a great game. It's $20. I still don't like that price for those old Wii games, but I mean, that's fine, I guess. It's a really pretty game. That's one of the things about Wii support. The Wii is a standard definition, and some of the games don't hold up so well. That one defies that. That game is really pretty. So, a lot of Kirby stuff out there in the Nintendo shop.
So, quick update on the Kirby thing, because I totally wasn't downloading the demo while we were podcasting, and I totally didn't play a level of it.
You already played
the Kirby.
We're calling you Mo playing video games while we podcast.
Right?
I edited the site.
So the Kirby demo does feature 2 stages. I only played one. One stage is a typical Kirby stage where you're not in the robot, and the second one is the robot stage. I played the normal Kirby stage, if you will. Handles well, just as you'd expect out of a Kirby game, similar style. The graphics are really, really cool, and I like what they've done, transitioning him into the 3D realm. A lot of fun. It's just very short. So I don't know how long the robot level is, but I beat the traditional level in, I want to say, a minute and a half. So it is kind of short, but it is very well done, and it just emphasizes even more how good of a game this actually is. So I suggest anybody that has a new 3DS, or 3DS for that matter, just download it, give it a shot. It doesn't hurt, and it is fun. So I can attest to that. Kyle, anything else on the news docket?
One more thing, but I'm going to jump back briefly quick. Donnie, I could be wrong, but didn't they give a release date for Darksiders of October 26th?
I was looking at their blog post. That's the one that I had bookmarked, and I didn't see it. I saw on the blog post. I can pull it back up.
Because I think it was on the press release.
Yeah, the blog post says an announced date has not been announced yet, and to watch it. But, I mean, if you've got the press release, on their blog it says release date coming soon.
Oh, maybe they changed it. But I think that's also only going to be $20, which is nice compared to $40 from Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Anyway, beta site...
And which has new textures.
Right, exactly, which has 0 new textures. So beta signups are available for the PS Software Update 4.0. So if you're interested in beta testing that, you can sign up now. There's currently no information available about what this update is actually going to involve, but there should be a blog post on the PlayStation blog in early August with more information. Now,
folders.
What I was about to say. What would I love to see? Folders would be super nice. External hard drive support would be super nice. And I think creating custom wallpapers would be pretty cool, as well as everybody else, wants to change their PSN names. I don't care, but I know a lot of people do. So
I want to be able to delete demos off my library so they don't show up anymore because I don't care.
I think that might come.
Yeah, that was in a survey they had sent out in May as one of the options of what they were looking at. So
I took that.
Hopefully that will come too. Yeah, so hopefully that comes too.
The thing that I would like to see in that is something that really grinds my gears on the PS4, man. Every time I see it, it makes me upset. 3 years ago, I wrote to support and offered them something, and they tweeted at me, and I'll quote it, as best I can remember, but this is really close. They were like, "That's a great idea. We'll put that in the works." And I've still been waiting on it. You can't move any of the tiles around in the TV streaming apps folder or little sub drop down. Yes. So like if you download Netflix, you have a Netflix icon and it's like at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then there's like a download Netflix ad icon that they have at the top that it's like, I've already downloaded. And they're like, well, sorry, you're going to have to scroll over top of it and go down to your actual thing. And it's not just Netflix. There's like 6 of them. It's like, download PlayStation View. It's like, I have PlayStation View. It's already here. Get rid of this junk. Or at least let me reorder them. They're just locked that way. It drives me nuts every time I see it.
See, these are the cute, endearing things that Sony does.
Yeah, sure. Endearing with air quotes around them. All right, so now at this point, you guys might be thinking, how the heck did Play Some Video Games have an entire episode when they didn't talk about the big news about the NX leaks? Well, there's a good reason for that. If somehow you were listening to this episode and you didn't hear what was released right before it by a couple days, you need to go back and download it. The Nintendo Trio, if you will, cracked open the Nintendo Shack and discussed all of the news that leaked out about the NX and our thoughts and views and opinions of it. So please go back, check your feed, hit up the website, and then, hear all the details there. We didn't want to cannibalize it and take 2 episodes discussing the same types of things. And Donnie is telling me he forgot one more news story. So go ahead, Donnie.
Let me unmute.
That helps.
I thought Q was going to cover this. Rainbow Six Siege is free this weekend. Free to play.
Well, I didn't cover it in protest because that game should have been free to play day one.
Also, considering this episode is probably going to drop on Sunday or Monday, Rainbow Six Siege was free to play this past weekend.
Just edit it out then.
Yeah,
just kill everything after that. You did great, and then just kill that.
There you go. Sorry, I didn't know where you're going with it. So, all right, boys and girls, that brings us towards the end of the show. So, Kyle, is there anything you'd like to plug before we leave tonight?
Well, you can always become my friend on PSN and follow me on Twitter as Cycocross, CYCOCROSS. I say every time that I'm really going to try to write more, and I seriously am going to try to write more. But I have some reviews that are mostly in the can, both video game and board game. And I'm also toying around with an idea because I know the hype and or anticipation of No Man's Sky is very different for different people. My plan is, crossing my fingers because I started a new job Monday, but my plan is once No Man's Sky releases, I'm hoping to do basically like a weekly recap, including video and write-up of like, hey, here are all the things I discovered. Here's what I did. Here's the things
awesome.
I traded. And just kind of do a weekly for however long the game captivates my interest of kind of like what my No Man's Sky adventure looks like. So if that's anything that might be interesting to you, check that out starting the week No Man's Sky comes out, which is August 9th.
Hey, there you go. That sounds fun. Q, anything you'd like to plug, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. Gamer Husband, Newbie Wife. Check it out on the website. We got 3 episodes out. And like I said earlier, if you have any recommendations for games that we could play in between Halos or when we take breaks from Halos, just, shoot me on my Twitter, Lobo Rican Power, at Lobo Rican Power. Or just, I guess, if there's a contact email for PSVG, just send it in there, and I'm sure it will get to me. Besides that, Mo still needs to finish a Destiny raid, so that will happen at some point. And 29 days till college football, so I'm plugging that in.
Boom. There you go. Donnie, how about you?
Ooh, I'm very excited for this one. Folks, if you would like to join Kyle and myself, we are starting a Play Some Video Games poker night.
Ooh.
We're not sure if we're going to do it every other week or once a month yet. It's going to depend on how many people show up to the first and second attempts. But we're going to play our first poker night this Wednesday. So go to the forum. We have a thread already started, PSVG Poker Night. Come find us on Twitter if you want. The game's $20, so it's pure Hold'em World Poker on PlayStation 4. It's going to cost you $20, and we're going to get a party chat going, and we hope to have a really fun weekly or monthly poker night where we all just get together and chat and talk and listen to everything you have to say about PSVG. You can ask us stuff about the podcast, stuff we'll cover it, and just have a fun time together. So hopefully this is a long-running series, and hopefully you'll come join us.
Hey, there you go. There you have it. For me, I said this before, and I still haven't done it yet. I got to get my Dishonored review out for the definitive edition. I will probably have out something on Saints Row 4. I know it's an older game, but hey, for some of you that might be interested with me talking about it, it's definitely worth checking out. So I hope to have reviews on those up. Like I said, go back and download the Nintendo Shack NX episode if you haven't already, and take a listen to that. That was a lot of fun doing. Make sure you follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/playsomevideogames. You can always leave comments there and follow our news articles as they pop up. You'll be able to click on them right from there. It'll take you right to the website. And that website is playsomevideogames.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at _PSVG. You can email us at playsomevideogames@gmail.com. Please continue to tell a friend. We rely on the listeners, and to be honest, we do it all for you guys. So, as always, thank you for listening. Rate us on iTunes, and of course, as we all said, we are never going to stop. So we don't expect you never stop gaming.
Thank you for listening to Play Some Video Games, the
Q.
Well, originally it was. If you have watched Dragon Ball Z, there's a character called Majin Buu.
Yeah.
So it's basically a Majin Buu voice, but people don't always know what that is.
Now I want to hear it. Now I want to hear it. Because I'm thinking like it now.
So what is something that Majin Buu says that you remember him saying from the TV show? Do you ever?
I remember him saying cookie a lot.
I will turn you into a cookie!
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that's Majin Buu. That didn't even sound like a clown. At least what I think of when I think of it.
No, I could see that being a clown voice. Oh.
I think you need to do the whole podcast like that.
Oh, God, no.
Well, my news for the week are Marvel Alliance coming to Xbox and PS4, but no achievements.
Oh my God!
There's a stinger. That's it right there.
You better put on allspice